the catalog of films that I reviewed on this show, I feel there's a common thread between a lot of them. Troll, Play Dead, Reanimator, The Thing, Prom Night, Halloween 3, Night of the Creeps, and Primeval were all created in the same span of 10 years that also happened to see me enter this world in awkward, big-headed glory. The decade of hairspray and spandex known as the 80s. So go ahead and tease up that hair, slap on those Ray-Bans, because it's Prom Night 2! Well, the film starts us off by introducing the main catalyst of the film, Mary Lou, the resident skank and bad girl of her little town. And then we jump right to prom! And her date, who looks remarkably like the douchebag from Soul Taker. Anyways, she ditches him to go slut it up somewhere else, and through a slight whoopsie situation, Jilted Bill accidentally sets her on fire. Well, it was bad, but at least it was short. So, we jump ahead 3 decades in the film, and we meet the new crux of our film, Vicky. Meet her cold, bitchy mother, her laid-back, why the hell did he even marry her father, and her boyfriend Craig, who is the dorkiest biker ever to have lived. Prom is coming up, and so Vicky decides to raid the theater costume closet, and of course eventually opens up a costume trunk that holds the angry ghost of Mary Lou. I mean, it could happen to any of us. So once Vicky opens up the trunk, we see several scenes of strange visions that appear before her during the course of the next week or so. We continue seeing Mary Lou show up to Vicky, and Vicky freaking out, then more visions, then more Mary Lou. This is where the film takes its trip to town. Yes, poorly constructed Freddy Krueger hallucinations can be nice, but the primary problem of this film is that it takes too long to execute what we want to see. All we want is the possession. What we get is a near hour of filler and fodder and fucking bullshit. And yes, movie, I get that you're going for this whole exorcism meets the Breakfast Club and takes a big fat Carrie right on the dance floor. I get that. But get on with it. So, Vicky becomes the new Mary Lou, and the first thing she does is track down her old flame, pardon the pun, Billy, who happens to be the principal of the school, and can it be?
Vicky?
It is! It's old Michael sucked his brains out Ironside.
They sucked his brains out.
I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that the sole decent aspect of this film is Michael Ironside. I mean, the man doesn't age. So, the rest of the film is possessed Vicky being a weirdo douche, killing some people.
Craig is so cool.
No one knows why, except for one nerdy guy who totally calls it.
Maybe she's possessed.
But is completely ignored. Blah, 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 blah. So the spirit shows up finally and gets back into its own form. Michael Ironside seduces it, and it gets taken care of, or does it? You may have noticed at this point that Prom Night 2 doesn't seem to have a whole lot of similarity to Prom Night 1. And you'd be close. It has next to nothing in common with the first film, other than the fact that both take place at prom. That's it. Those are the only connecting factors. This film is completely different from the first one, and is just named Prom Night 2 to make some money, which it really didn't do. So, that's the movie. In summary, blah 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 blah, Michael Ironside, blah blah blah. That's all the time we have for this particular episode of Horrible Horrors. I'm Zach Romero. Until next time.
They're playing our song.